This is the face of someone who has gotten off the path. You see, every once in a while, there's an event, something that happens in our lives that gets us away from the beaten path, takes us away from the habits we know that make us successful and that we need to keep going. My event happened December 10th, 2023, and it was the birth of my daughter, Mila. This video is about getting back on the right path. Things happen, events in our lives that are incredibly important, similar to having a new child, for example, can completely derail us. But here's the truth, similar to what they say in the airlines, if you don't put your gas mask on first, you won't be around to do the same for your kids. You have to take care of you first, and I have not been doing that the last week. So today, with my newborn daughter, because mom's out at an appointment, we're going to get back on track, if she lets me. Now, this is not the first time that I've gotten off track, right? There's been tons of things that happened in our lives that completely derails us. For me, there's 3 things that I do in a single day that completely puts me back on the right path. Oh, I know. Okay. Now, I know what you're thinking. More than likely, it's going to be that I need to shave. And look, I'm completely aware that your boy looks a bit homeless, but that's not actually the first one. That's going to come later. It starts with 3 things. REC. The last one's actually new. This kind of 3-step process, I added the final thing most recently because I realized what it was kind of doing in my brain when I didn't do it. So the first thing is going to be reading. Now, that is incredibly difficult to do when you have a newborn. See, part of the reason why I'm even making this video today in the first place was actually due to the fact that I'm reading this book that inspired me. This book here, The Courage to Be Disliked. Now, I started the book, the actual hard copy of the book, before she was born, but obviously since she was born, I had to change it up a little bit. So I got the audiobook, and Spotify, by the way, this is not like a promo for them or by any way, but Spotify now has audiobooks on there. So I found the audiobook on Spotify, started listening to it just so I can kind of progress through the book as while we're home with little Mila. But one of the things that the book talked about today that got me kind of out of that just need to just be around and existing for my daughter was that I still have life tasks to do. There's still things that I need to do for me to stay inspired, to keep going, to make sure I still have a business when I come back from paternity leave, right? To make sure that I still am inspired to keep creating YouTube content and those things. And so the book actually helped me do that. And that's the point of the first part of getting back after being derailed, is reading for inspiration. Now, for some people, they're like, I just hate reading. I don't like picking up books, which is no problem. You can do the same thing with podcasts. There's a lot of great, inspiring podcasts out there that you can listen to while you're feeding the baby, while you're doing whatever you're doing, just to get you back and inspired. You see, the books and the podcasts and the audiobook, they only really need to give you a glimmer of inspiration, a tiny ember of a fire, a flame that you can start to pick up and then carry on. I only needed a little bit to go, you know what? A week is long enough for me to hang around and just kind of like catch up on sleep and all those things. I don't really have any more excuses as to why I can't do little things to take care of me. So again, I could be in a better mood to take care of the baby. And obviously her mom, who is, be honest with you, is doing all the actual hard work, by the way. So look at this. Boom. She's out. And since she's out now, we can move on to step 2, exercise. All right, so I thought I had a good game plan. I was going to put Mila in this little swing thing and then put it right here. And then I was going to get on the Peloton, because honestly, I haven't touched this thing in a while. However, she was not having it. So here's what we're going to try. We're going to do a bottle, get a real nice and milk drunk, and then we're going to try it again. I would lift. The idea was like, my other idea was I was going to lift and put her in the car seat, cover her up real nice, just have her in the garage with me. But honestly, I feel like the banging and clanging is going to wake her up. So the second step in actually being able to get back on the path is exercise. And for today, I'm going to be doing Peloton bike, mostly because for me, after whatever hiatus I take, having one tough workout starting things off, some reason shakes the cobwebs off, right? My brain's a little bit less in fog. It's going to help me sleep later. It sucks really bad, to be honest with you. But there's nothing better than feeling that inspiration coming right back to you after a really hard workout. And again, the last few weeks, I've been predominantly just doing lifting for the most part, just because I've been lazy. But the hospital food, between the hospital food, all the food people have been bringing over, the Uber Eats we've been getting, because we got tons of gift cards. I've been eating like crap lately. I don't want to go too far down in a hole that I can't get out of, so I'm trying to burn some of those calories off from the holidays. I forgot about that too, and all the food I've been eating. So I'm going to start actually with the Peloton today for our exercise. All right, so the workout is complete. I gotta be honest with you. There's a moment there where Mila's eyes opened. She's in a little swinger. She was like looking at me. She gave this look like, hey, I'm gonna cry and your workout is done. But she just watched me for a while. Close her eyes back. Okay, but we've gone over two things that are important to get back on track. The first, obviously, is reading. The second is things like exercise, like what we just did. Before we get into our last and final thing, that, like I mentioned before, is relatively new, but I think is incredibly important for me. Before we get to that, let's wait for baby's mom to get home, which should be anytime here soon. And let me shave. A little bonus thing. If you want to get back on track, my old football coach back in high school, Coach Power, shout out to Coach Power, she used to say, look sharp, be sharp. And right now, I don't look very sharp. I look a little homeless. Let me take care of this. Be right back with the third and final thing we have to do to get back on track. All right, remember how I mentioned that the third and final step to getting back on the path was a new one, something that I haven't really tried yet before, and it's creation. You see, a few days into us taking Mila home, waking up with Kayla, all of that started to feel depressed. It wasn't because of the lack of sleep. It was just something felt off. And that's what it hit me. I wasn't creating anymore. One of the things that I realized recently in having this YouTube channel, but also having a business for the last 4 years, is that I'm constantly in a state of creation, either with new offers, working with new clients and helping them with their YouTube videos, or just creating my own. And what I've realized is if I'm not creating, I get down. The act of creation, although it can be tough at times, coming up with a new idea, trying to figure it out, and then finally seeing it get published, even though that's difficult a lot of times, it's sometimes what's necessary to get us out of a funk. Which then brings me to why I even decided to create this YouTube video in the first place. You see, I've worked with a lot of different business owners and creators in general that when they have their kid, they make their entire life about the kid. And in fact, the book that I referred to earlier talks a lot about this. The Courage to be Disliked. It talks about your life's tasks. Your life's task is more than just raising a kid. And in fact, what happens when, the kid turns 16, no longer needs you around 24/7, those parents wake up one day and realize that their entire life was wrapped around their kids. They don't even know who they are anymore. I referred to this earlier, but they talk about this in the airplanes a lot, right? The importance of putting on your oxygen mask before you put on your kids. You have to put yourself first oftentimes, even before your kids. What sounds counterintuitive, but if you don't take care of you, well, the truth is no one's going to. With that being said, I better go make sure. I think I hear Mila crying in the other room. Better go help out mom, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. Let me know down in the comments, what do you do to get back on the path after an event like this takes place and takes you veering off. See you in the next video.